Hey, what's up, bubs? Welcome to the basic concept. Today's topic is diversification. Now, before I get any angry comments, let me clarify that Warren Buffett is one of my idols, and I've actually learned a lot from him. However, I've also learned not to follow people's advice blindly. And in this video, I will share my thoughts on why I believe Warren Buffett is wrong about diversification. Before we get started, help my channel grow by hitting some of the buttons below, like the subscribe button, the notification bell, the like button, and the comment button. Thank you. Let's get right into the video. Let's talk about Warren Buffett's stance against diversification. He has said many times that diversification is protection against ignorance, and it makes very little sense if you know what you're doing. To summarize, what he's saying is that if you know what you're doing, do not diversify. Instead, have just a handful of really good businesses that make you a ton of profit. Whereas the normal approach for most retail traders is to have a bunch of stocks with small profits. Just in case if one fails to produce profit, the rest will pick up the slack and balance your portfolio out. I 100% agree with Warren Buffett's philosophy. However, the average trader or the retail trader does not know enough about the market, recent trends, company's profitability, or cash position. So, while I agree with his basis of his statement, I do not see this being viable for the majority. The majority of us have regular lives, a day job, family, and friends to tend to, and that takes up most of our time, leaving us with not much of that resource to keep up with the market. Let me share my personal example. Earlier in my trading days, I wanted to know everything about a company before I bought any of their shares. At this point, I was primarily interested in GE General Electric and Home Depot. If you know me, you know that these are the two stocks that I've had the longest. When I first started buying GE and Home Depot, I honestly didn't know more than 10% of what I know now. I believed that these companies operated independently of any market influences because of how big they were and are. I spent about $15,000 between 2005 and 2011 to buy Home Depot, and about $10,000 in the same time frame on General Electric. Home Depot is clearly the winner from those two. My average acquisition cost is about $32.19 per share, and today that's worth a little over $90,000. GE, on the other hand, my average cost was around $13 per share. The stock went up to mid-30s before crashing and ended up selling my position around $22. My net for that one is around $17,000, not counting the dividends. Again, I didn't know much back then when I started, but even getting super lucky with Home Depot and gaining almost 700%, an ETF that is diversified would have done much, much better with much, much less risk. Just for comparison, let's take that same $25,000 and say I invested it in a diversified index fund. Let's say BFOCX. In the same time, BFOCX would have ended with a net closer to $150,000, which is approximately 50% better than what I did. 50% is huge. Additionally, it's way more passive and easier to invest in for the majority of us. It would have required about 20 to 30 minutes for me to find this particular index, which is BFOCX, or a fund like it, and then you just fund it and forget it and let the compound take over. My point is that you can definitely cherry pick a few stocks that will generate great returns. I actually have a video on this on my channel if you want to know how to do it, but it does have the possibility of losing value at the same time. Or you can simply invest in a broad index or a diversified one and get good returns with much lower risk and not too much work goes into finding these ETFs. Diversification does come in two different flavors, in my opinion. One being account diversification, where you want to spread out your wealth in accounts like 401k, Roth IRA, personal investment account like a bridge account. By the way, a bridge account is an account that lets you live comfortably from the time you retire to the minimum BS age to retire according to the feds. The reason you want to spread your accounts is because of limitations. Roth IRA has a max contribution of $6,000 per year as of 2019. 401k is capped at about $19,500 per year, and the bridge account is taxed twice, once when you earn the money and once again when you have capital gains or dividends in it. On top of that, these accounts are only protected between $150,000 to $250,000 with FDIC or similar. So in this one, diversification is a must. Second is the diversification that Warren Buffett is against. Here, you want to diversify your actual portfolio with things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, real estate, or REIT stocks, which by the way are real estate investment trust stocks and indexes. So having all that covered, what's the downside of diversification? So for this one, we can go back to my personal example, and instead of me investing $15,000 in Home Depot and $10,000 in General Electric, what if I put all 25 in Home Depot? That would have been worth about $170,000 instead of the $110,000, or approximately $150,000 from BFOCX. So the downside in my own personal history is me losing out on about $80,000 in profits. But I could have easily made the mistake and put that money into GE instead of Home Depot. And that would have left me with $43,000. Meaning, while the upside is slightly better, going from $150,000 to $170,000, the downside is extremely worse, going from $150,000 all the way down to $43,000. The risk versus reward is heavy on the risk side, generally speaking. So that was a lot of numbers, but is diversification good or bad? Honestly, depends on how much time you are willing to invest in knowing and understanding the business before you invest your money in it. If you have 3 to 4 hours per day or more, there is a ton of money to be made in the stock market or in businesses in general, as there are new companies on the rise with exponential growth potential every single day. But if you're like me and the time is a finite resource, then diversification is your best friend because it can make you a millionaire over time with steady and passive investments without knowing the stock or the company inside and out or keeping up with the market and sector trends constantly. In my opinion, diversification is needed. I have my company 401k with just under $250,000 in it. My Roth IRA was started late, as I stated earlier. I didn't know much when I first started and didn't even know what an IRA was. That one has a little under $100,000, and my personal trading account that I started with is what I will be using as my bridge account and has a little over $170,000 in it. As far as diversification goes, the 401k is pretty much self-diversified, moving U.S. large cap companies and international funds. You can't really avoid diversification with 401k, I don't think. My Roth IRA has ETFs only, no individual stocks. It's spread out between REITs, ETFs, and also dividend ETFs and some growth ETFs. And my bridge account is the least diversified in my opinion. The majority of that money is in Home Depot and Apple, but I have a total of 4 individual stocks in it. So that covers my account diversification and portfolio diversification. And I can enjoy the gains passively and not have to invest more than maybe 10 to 15 hours a month of my time. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think of this video by hitting the like button or leaving me a comment in the comment section below. You can also support my channel by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. You can also check out my referral links, which will give you some free stuff and me, which is a win-win. Anyways, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.